If Rome had not fallen, we would never have had the Dark Ages. Thus, scientific advancement, economic progress, and human development would have continued to grow at an exponential pace. What if Roman Empire never existed? What if the Roman Empire never existed? Alternate. The power vacuum that would have existed without Rome would have allowed other empires to grow. Most likely, the larger empires would have been centered in the East, which was more populous and advanced. Persia would have expanded more than it did, becoming in many ways similar to the Roman Empire. What if the Roman Empire continued as an expansionist empire? If Rome had survived to this day, it would have conquered many more territories and would have formed some overseas colonies. There would be 2 international languages, the evolved versions of ancient Greek and Latin. Instead of football, you would have a gladiator Champions League. In order for Rome not to fall, they would have needed to pacify Germania early on, likely during the reign of Augustus. This could have given the empire breathing room to keep Britannia as well. With borders secure, the empire could theoretically last until today. This would have precipitated the death of the German language, as well as Dutch, English, and Danish. The entire continent would have spoken types of vulgar Latin. Latin would remain the language of prestige likely to the current day. What if the Roman Empire was today? The modern Roman Empire would have territory in wealthier areas such as England, France, and Germany, but also in more impoverished areas such as Iraq, Armenia, and Libya. For this reason, the average income of citizens within the empire would be around $2,623. I tend to think that some form of democracy would have overtaken rule by empire, and the Roman Senate would be the dominant governing body across much of the world. It's likely that sub-senates would pop up to replace Roman governors appointed by the Roman Senate. These would probably function more like devolved parliaments in the UK than like state governments within the US. This was on its way to happening in our timeline with the administrative split between East and West Roman empires. If the empire held together, it would have to evolve into more of a confederation of nation-states than a single monolithic government. With Europe more or less united, sharing a common government with the Middle East, colonialism would never have fallen. After the discovery of the New World, Rome would easily conquer the Western Hemisphere, leading to an empire that would put Britain to shame. Rome tended to be a bit more kind to its conquests than Age of Exploration Europe, so there's a good chance that Native American genocides don't happen. Christianity is a tricky thing to fit into all this. It's likely that it still holds a place in the empire, but Roman paganism is a part of what held the empire together. It either has to go or it has to become the official religion, and its figurehead needs to be the emperor. There can't be a schism between West and East in this regard, so we'll say that happens, or that the emperor stomps out Christianity and remains Pontifex Maximus of the Roman pagan church. Either way, until the current day, the Roman people are united under the emperor, who is now a constitutional monarch and head of the church, as in England. This is important as it provides a sense of religious duty to the state. The East may or may not hold against the empire, assuming that Rome takes all of the colonial possessions, all its constituent parts took in our timeline. India becomes a Roman province, and without a major European war to suck resources from its masters, it remains so to this day. China could not withstand the combined might of the rest of the world, so that likely falls as well. This is really unlikely and entirely hypothetical. But somewhere in the infinite multiverse is a Roman Empire that spans the whole Earth with colonies on Mars and the Moon. Rome had a tradition in some of the imperial cult traditions, but while Constantine was establishing a religion under imperial authority, also legitimatized imperial authority. Western Empire was struggling under multiple emperors, regional differences, invading barbarians whom were Christians themselves, and rioting armies that never fully indoctrinated. When Western Rome left England, that was it. England stopped being Roman in a matter of decades. When Eastern Empire was driven out of Syria, it was a hotbed of trouble for the Arabs for a century. In popular culture, and many history books, Rome is portrayed as the pinnacle of culture before our modern times. Roman achievements, such as aqueducts, thermal spas, roads, and the use of concrete are often highlighted to show how advanced technologically Rome was. Think of the film Gladiator and its depiction of the advanced Colosseum. But imagine if Rome had never fallen. Would modern society be more advanced today? Quite the contrary would be true. It is actually medieval technology and society that progressed more rapidly than that of Rome. And if it weren't for the fall of Rome, technology would have advanced much more slowly. According to ancient Roman legend, Romulus founded the city of Rome in 753 BC. We're speaking of the Western Empire, which after a long decline symbolically fell in Ravenna in 476. But an enhanced Senate continued to exist for more than a century afterwards. The Roman concept of state was continued for almost a millennia by the Holy Roman Empire and the Western Roman Empire,